Hey there! It is around 105 days into the year. It's mid-April, and here in Pittsburgh, we've only had 4 sunny days the entire year. But as you can tell, there's probably a little bit of lens flare. Today is going to be a sunny day. It's a little chilly this morning. You can still sort of see my breath a little bit, but it's going to get close to 70 degrees. But I'm not going fishing today. Actually, I want to take this chance to talk about a rod that I ordered, and honestly, I ordered it on a whim. This is actually probably the package that I'm most worried about, because there are supposed to be 2 rods inside this package. I thought, hey, you know, for 50 bucks, it's not that much of a risk. At the time, I didn't imagine that this would be the rod that I would first want to talk about and do a sort of an official review on. And that is the Lemoren Windshadow. But I tell you what, this rod has amazed me. I caught my first bait finesse fish on this rod. It was a trout. I've had my best day trout fishing ever on this rod this year, and I've caught 2 personal best trout on this year, including a golden rainbow. Some people call them palominos or banana trout. The first one I've ever caught, and it was a nice one. So I absolutely love this rod. I have very little negative to say about it. So, you know, spoiler alert, right? This might be the best $50 rod you can buy if you want something lightweight and flexible. So let's just be very clear. This is, some people would call it a noodle rod. To me, it brings back some of the feelings of fishing with that Zebco 33 when I was growing up, right? That white fiberglass rod with the green reel on it. That was the push button, what do they call it? Spin cast, I think. You know, that was what, honestly, that rod and reel got me hooked on fishing. So maybe that's part of my love of this. It's got a great action. I've used it with 2 different reels. I've used the Dark Wolf Ultra, and I've now used the Aldebaran 22. So maybe that tells you something about how much I thought about this rod. The first rod that I put the Aldebaran on was this one. I've really enjoyed it. Now, I've caught a couple smaller bass on it. It does not have the backbone to really fight bigger fish, in my opinion. Although, you know, the one trout that I caught was in the 20-inch range, and I had to get it out of current, and it was a bit of a fight, and it was a little stressful, but it was a lot of fun. This casts light lures extremely well. I've been casting things down to 0.7, 0.6 grams or so. You know, little trout magnets, plastic wax worms. You know, it's really been amazing. In fact, I would not hesitate to buy it again. I like this rod so much that I bought a more expensive glass rod around the same size because I wanted to see how much better it might be. And I wanted to see if I could get another one that had just a little bit more backbone. But this rod cost me around $51 from AliExpress. They range $55. It does have Fuji guides. It's a 4-piece rod. And so you've got the little handle section here. And then it breaks down into 4 pieces that are about this long. You know, so when I got it and I really looked at it, I thought it would be a great travel rod, you know, something that I could throw in my backpack and, you know, when I'm riding the bike or something. I still plan on doing that. But at this point, it works so well as just a regular trout rod or panfish rod that I'm like, well, I'm just going to go ahead and do the review. And there'll be some videos coming up on when I just throw this in my backpack with a reel. Now, I love the Dark Wolf Ultra on this rod, so I'm probably going to put it back on there, and I'll find a new home for the Aldebaran, because I do like the Aldebaran. A couple other things to note with this. The ends of this are unfinished, right? And that, I think, actually helps it, does 2 things actually. It helps it stick a little bit better into the ferrule joint that it's going into, right? And the other thing that it does is, I think it gives you a visual when you're putting it together. It gives you a visual for how they need to go together. One negative that I did have is that at one point I had a snag and the tip came off. So, you know, that's a small thing to think about. The other thing is, you know, for my taste, it's a little gaudy, right? I mean, it's you know, you've got this gray trim ring. It's a sparkle purple metallic in here, but you know, with the white, you know, it sort of looks a little regal, I guess. So that doesn't bother me that much. I mean, this could have been toned down, in my opinion, if this was, you know, honestly, if the gold was more like a graphite gray or something, I think this would be like the perfect rod potentially. The handle is extremely comfortable. It's one of the most comfortable handles that I've used. So even for $70, I think this rod is a steal. I would not hesitate to find it. I'll have a link to AliExpress. It's the only place I've been able to find it. And honestly, if you search for Lemoren Windshadow, you may not even find it. I don't remember how I came across it. I might have just been looking for fiberglass rod or something. But it's the real deal. For $50, I think it would hold up to probably similar $50 to $150 rods. The only rod that I like better than this one so far, that I've been more impressed with, I paid over $250 for it, and I got a good deal on it. So Lemoren Windshadow, would not hesitate to buy it again. And if you're looking for a budget, short, great for small streams, cast light lures well. You know, I've had I think an 1/8 ounce, might have been a 1/4 ounce chatterbait on this. It struggled a little bit, you know, to be honest with you. But so if you're going to be like 1/8 ounce and lighter, I think this is fantastic. Fantastic for trout, panfish, small bass. But you know, at some point this year, hopefully I'll catch a nice sized bass or maybe even a carp or something while I'm bike fishing, and we'll see how it does. But Lemoren Windshadow, 100% recommend it. It's been one of my favorite purchases in 2022 as I've really been going down this rabbit hole of bait finesse. So thanks for watching. If you get one, let me know. If you have any other questions, leave them in the comments. Yeah, go get one. For me, it's just made fishing more fun. I gotta tell you, this little rod and this Dark Wolf Ultra Reel, they're doing just fine. I can't describe it. It's my best day fishing in years, probably. And that's the whole point, right? Unless you're a competitive fisherman, it's about going out, relaxing, having fun, and this rod has made that possible. Have a great one, and I'll see you next time.